What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast 412, Fight for Purity. A bold way of looking at challenges that young people are facing. We'll talk about the naked truth of life and how to handle the problems you're thinking but not talking about. So strap in, get ready for another great podcast.
All right, guys, welcome back to season 3 where we're talking about conduct. Today we're going to be talking a lot about one of the ingredients of conduct, which is respect. And before we get into that, we have our fun fact with Angelique. Share it with us, please.
My nose itches. So I found this thing where it says women's senses are more attuned, meaning like we're more, I guess, sensitive to stuff. And one of the things is colors. And that's because of our color vocabulary. I don't know if I'm too far away. So it says that there was a test on our ability as women to see variations in color hues. And the results showed that women were more sensitive to different hues, while many men seemed to think that different colors were the same. Also, with our hearing, we hear better than men. This is when it comes to identifying sound frequency and intensity, as well as understanding speech. Us as women are able to pick up on subtle nuances that men may not recognize. This causes us as women to be hypersensitive to sound even while we're sleeping, which makes
Sense.
a lot of sense.
If you're a mother.
Finally, with women, we have more keen sense of smell. It is thought that women are more sensitive to body odor in order to better find a potential partner. This heightened sense of smell is also thought to be an evolutionary trait, helping women detect potential dangers in their environment.
That explains why we always think everyone stinks.
Or like we can smell gas, if we leave the
Right.
gas stove on.
Right. I wonder, the whole color thing makes sense. Like when you ask a guy which color is better, and it's like a different variation of the same color, like it's the same thing. We're like, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Or why we always ask that question. It's like, it seems like you're mad at me. We heard something, okay?
Yeah. The tone is different.
Yeah. So we're going to start with respect. So I had you look up
Yes.
the whatever dictionary.
The Webster Dictionary of Respect is consideration for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. So it just means like when you do stuff, you're considering other people's thoughts. It's not just about you, but it's about them too.
Thoughts or feelings, or I think there's a lot in there.
There's a lot.
We'll get back into it, I guess.
Yeah. There's a whole lot.
There's a whole lot. And then mine's, I looked at, I believe it was the Hebrew, but I'm not positive 100%. I'm 99% positive, okay? But the root word comes from kabod, which literally means heavy or weighty. And it says it's basically to give weight to someone. So, like value, not weight as in, but give weight or value to somebody. And that's what it means in the Hebrew, I believe. Basically and I guess another word would be like honor. So to honor somebody then is to give weight or to grant a person a position of respect and even authority in one's life. A person grants honor most frequently on the basis of position, status, or wealth, but it can and should also be granted on the basis of character. So that's what.
I like that, giving weight to somebody.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're telling the other person that they're also important.
Yeah.
By how you're treating them or by how you're considering them. I like that.
Yeah, and that's what it means, like in the Hebrew. So I feel like that's a good thing to start off with when we talk about conduct, because that's gonna spill into like every relationship that you have, a relationship with in a married couple, a relationship between a parent and a child, a relationship between friends, or a romantic relationship. Like I feel like it's all gonna somehow apply to that.
It all brews together.
Yeah, well, because like we said our first episode about what conduct is, and conduct was just those rules or those standards of your personal behavior, and you're gonna behave everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Some way you're gonna behave.
you're gonna
Yeah.
behave somehow, some way, everywhere.
Yeah.
So respect is always gonna be a part of that, because I guess no matter where you are, you're gonna treat some people like they're important. You're gonna give weight to them. You're gonna consider their feelings and their traditions.
And then one of the questions I kind of thought about was, who should we respect? Like who should we respect?
Oh,
Just-
you asking?
Yeah, I'm
asking
asking
right
you
now?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna give a list, you know?
No, I feel like, yeah.
Everyone.
Well, let's define who everyone is. It's easy to say everyone,
Everyone.
but everyone, yourself,
Your parents.
Obviously, yeah.
and who else did
Your
you say?
parents.
Your parents.
Figures of authority.
I know that's like,
Peers.
yeah, your
Yeah.
peers.
Your peers.
I know it's not a popular idea about everyone, but I think personally, like, everybody gets the respect at first, because just like everything else, you can lose respect for people, but that's because of their behavior, not yours.
Yeah.
So I think I think it's a personal, my own standards, my own conduct rules, you know, is that you give it to everybody until they lose it for whatever reason, and then you take it back. You take it away. Not completely though either.
Yeah, and I think that's a touchy. Yeah.
It is, because like there's that whole, especially I think with kids, like, because I remember being a teenager and thinking like, why should I respect you? Like, you're a stranger, you know, that whole like, you can't tell me what to do, like, you don't know me, you don't know where I come from, you don't know my lifestyle, you know. You can't tell me what to do. But then like not realizing, like looking back at it now, I don't know them either. I don't know their backgrounds. I don't know what they expect, what their own conduct was, what they expected from me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was just, it's that whole, like, you don't understand the other person, which I think is why it's important you give it until you lose it, because you don't understand where everybody else is coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had instances, well, like, so in the native culture, the native side of my family, there you just give respect. You respect your elders, like you respect aunties, uncles, like, and you know, I've always just said hi, you know, even if they're weird, I say hi and then leave,
random
get away
cousin.
from them. I'm just kidding. You know, or you know, and I've had aunties, you know, sometimes they say stuff and it's like, why would you say that? You know, but I've never rude to them.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes, I mean, because I've known her for so long, she's kind of it's like her personality, you know. But even in the instances where I think she's rude or maybe she shouldn't have my respect, I still respect her and say hi. Like, if she needs something, I'll go get it. Or, you know, if they ask of something of me that's not I don't know what the word is, not inconvenient, but if it's not unreasonable, I guess,
Yeah.
like, I'll do it, you know, like, can you help wash the dishes or go get that? Or, you know, during feast we serve, like, we need more plates out there, wash these dishes or whatever, you know. But in that form of like a cultural setting, you give respect to all your elders.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I mean, no matter what. I was saying earlier that when I was growing up, if a bunch of adults were in the kitchen, usually it was the kitchen, if they were talking, I know for me, like as a younger child or teenager, we weren't even allowed to go in. Like, you just knew if there was a group of adults talking, you didn't insert yourself in the conversation. You didn't even get close.
Like, you couldn't even be in the
No,
room.
you can be in the same room. Yeah, you know, like nowadays you don't see that. You know, kids just insert themselves, you know, into whatever conversation you're having. But that's just our society. You know, kids aren't taught to, like, hey, there's adults, you know, go away. No. But that, you know, that could be like a cultural thing too. And then I think about too how as far as, you know, who you should show respect to. Also, like, maybe even just the opposite sex. Like, how does a guy treat a girl? How does a guy respect
A girl.
or show respect?
And then how does a girl respect a guy?
Yeah. And then the whole parent thing, even like at work, like with your coworkers, or even in the family, even amongst like your brothers and your sisters. How about in marriage?
I think that's where you get the most offended. Because in marriage.
That's always such a touchy,
Yeah.
you know. But respect, right? It goes. It's not just from one end to the other. It's supposed to be both ways, you know. And then how about, do you earn respect? Do you think that we should earn respect? Do you think that's something that if I'm going to respect you, you got to earn my respect? Do you think that that's like...
It's hard because the human side of you, like yes, you better earn my respect, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, the human part of me wants respect. Like,
So I guess kind of like, how are we supposed to earn respect if we're not going to respect? I guess,
Yeah.
in a sense. So it's like a,
I think it's like a give and get at the same, like a tug of war. I think almost.
Yeah,
a
like-
little bit.
like we should earn respect on it, I guess, on both sides.
Yeah.
But like, if they see you not respecting, but you're in having that mentality, like, well, you need to earn my respect. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't think that when I was younger, but like, really, like thinking about it now, I was like,
You thought
it's
you
kind of just a
deserved
vicious,
it.
it's just kind of like a vicious cycle. Like,
Yeah.
so like, then you end up not respecting that person. They don't end up respecting you, and then it's just like, well,
No respect.
no respect.
Yeah.
but I think even if you like start like, well, school, for example, because
Yeah.
I'm like, well, the age group, like if you're in school, you don't know your teacher when you walk in, you don't know your classmates, but you're gonna respect them, you're gonna respect
Yeah.
their things, you know. Hopefully you're respecting their boundaries.
Yeah.
You're respecting your teacher when they're talking and you don't disrupt, you know, or whatever. I don't know if you really earn that. Like a teacher doesn't go in there and earn it,
Yeah.
or your classmates don't earn it.
Well, I think maybe kind of in a way, because she comes in, or he, already with that authority.
I think it's like that authority thing.
Yeah. So I think in some senses, maybe.
I think you do technically, I think, earn it by having the title of teacher or authority in a school, but then you lose it really quickly if you don't act on that authority
Yeah.
as a teacher. And that doesn't mean like, you know, because they're not, this is my classroom, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think that's kind of what happens. But I think that happens though too is because kids don't give it right away either.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, it's that vicious circle. And I think just like personally, like as your own person, as you're trying to figure out your own conduct and what respect is to you and what it should be, is like going back to that definition of weight,
Yeah.
like understand like that is another human being,
Yeah.
whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're another human being just like you are. And if you are expecting to be treated a certain way by another human being, you have to treat them
Yeah.
that way as well, because why should anybody treat you any better if you're not treating anybody else well?
Yeah.
And I know that there's that whole, you know, like everybody gets all upset. Well, my life is crappy, you know, kind of thing. Like nobody deserves my respect because nobody gives it to me. But it's like well, because I knew people like that, and like I knew students like that when I was teaching, and like it was like it always comes up like my life was horrible, so I'm not gonna give it. But then not understanding that because you're not treating anybody else like they have any weight in life,
Yeah.
whether you know them or not, nobody treats you that way
Yeah.
because that's what you're giving off. So it's kind of like that. If you're not gonna treat anybody well, nobody's gonna treat you well either. It's just that whole back and forth, and so you can't expect higher standards for everybody else when you don't do the same thing.
Yeah.
Basically, you
Yeah.
receive what you put out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of, I guess, your background too, if you're taught it, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
that's taught.
Yeah, and that's not something that's something we talked about earlier, before we were on camera. Was you don't just are born to just. Somebody has to teach it to you.
It is not natural.
Yeah. Somebody, and even, I don't know. Did you guys say respecting yourself too?
We did.
We did, yeah, and that's something too, because that
That you
shows.
have to learn, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to respect yourself as well,
Yeah, and that doesn't
which means
like giving
value,
weight to
giving
yourself.
value to yourself.
Understand
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
mosquito. Like understanding, like treating yourself like you are also important.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't mean anybody can just run over you.
Yeah.
You know, but you're important too. But it's like you said, like it is taught. I don't know, like how I think it's like you said, like naturally we're just like I deserve it,
Yeah.
but we're not naturally gonna give it.
Yeah.
We're naturally selfish.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was one of the first things we talked about. Yeah, we just come in selfish.
Oh yeah, babies thinking all about themselves. You know.
Because even with my daughter, like, she's 5 now. So, like, if we're in a conversation, like, if I'm talking to another adult, I have to tell her, you need to hold on. So now I give her a signal, like, I'll put my hand on her, like, I hear you, but you need to wait. Or I'll tell her, wait a minute. you know, and then, or hold your thought, whatever,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm talking to someone.
Yeah, you're teaching
so you have to, she didn't know,
Yeah.
you know, because like if we're at home, she can come up to me whenever, you know, and talk to me. So I had to teach her, like, I'm with another adult or I'm talking to someone already and their time is valuable, you know, just as yours is
Yeah.
when I'm talking to them. So you need to wait a minute.
Yeah.
You
And I
know?
would tell them, excuse me.
Yeah.
Just say excuse me. Don't just come in and, you know.
Mom.
Yeah. Say excuse me first, and then, you know. So usually, yeah. So I think it's really important because, like I said, it's gonna flesh out in every relationship, like we talked about, like between a boy and a girl. You know, we're gonna talk about that later, but we're just trying to lay like some groundwork, like how you treat your parents, and even how your parents treat your kids. Like, are you teaching your kids to be respectful? You know?
That they're important, but also in how you're treating others in your life.
And even the kids, you know, like if you're a teenager or if you're, you know, do you have respect for your parents? How do you speak to them, or how do you talk to them? Because, you know, what value are you giving? Because then when you think about it like that, like what value are you giving to people? What kind of value are you giving to your parents when you talk to them? By how you're speaking to them. That says a lot about what you value or how you see them, you know. And even like with friends, you know, and can you disagree still
Without being disrespectful.
like if maybe they say something that you don't like, you know, are you gonna roll your eyes, you know?
It's hard not to sometimes.
Or you're gonna, you know, like all those different things, you know, can you maintain like that posture of, okay, I'm gonna be,
You're still important.
you're still
I don't
important,
agree with you,
I don't
but-
agree with you, I don't, and you could probably be wrong.
Oh yeah.
You could probably be wrong, but still maintain, okay, that
Courteousness.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's lost, like in our society.
Well, I think it's because, like you said, it's all selfish. It's understanding that respect is about not being selfish, which is really hard all the time. It's hard not to think about yourself all the time because, you know, you're you.
Yeah.
You know, you
You're
want to
with
be
you all the time.
Yeah, you want to be happy. You know, you want to be treated well in life. You know, but like, well, it's like it's just we naturally are just gonna think about ourselves first,
Yeah.
our feelings first, what we deserve first, instead of everybody else.
Yeah, our voice being heard, and I think that's what it's about. Like nowadays, it's like nobody can disagree. I have my voice, my opinion, and that's all that matters. And it's like, no, it's not all that matters because you have to live with other people every day. Every day you have to live with other people. Every day, other people have their own opinions or their own like even cultural things that they do. So we have to be respectful of
That
that.
you might not even understand
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, or even just like I think I heard somebody the other day talking about how even sometimes you might run into somebody that seems rude, like just rude, but you don't know what's going on in their day. You don't know if they just like maybe they just buried somebody that they loved, or maybe they were at the hospital, or maybe they just found out they have like some cancer or something, you know, but you have no idea like what that person or what situation that other person is in. And so if you're just respectful and just even just being kind back, that might just break the, you know, that rudeness, you know, and be like, okay, you know, well, thank you for that, you know, or thank you for not, you know, because, you know, you can shoot back and just be all like, what's wrong with that?
And we
person?"
want people to understand and respect us when we're going through it. So even people that you've known for a long time,
Yeah.
if they're going through something, they are not
Yeah,
don't want to share with the whole
Yeah,
world.
sometimes they snap because
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, and I know one of my daughters, we won't say who she is, but when she's hungry, you know, if she's hungry, she's so moody. And it's not like anything personal, but if you've been around her when she's hungry, she's just like,
Short.
she doesn't want to talk to you. She doesn't want to have a conversation with you.
Her face kind of says
Yeah.
it all. She's like,
You know, but it's not like a personal thing. You know, it's just she's just
she
hungry.
needs some food.
If you give her some food, she's like, she's great after that. You know?
I'm like that early in the morning. Like, just don't talk to me for a little bit. Let me like get my thoughts. I can't even think properly in the morning. Don't talk to me. Don't have a conversation with me. And one of my sons like that, so I enjoy the car ride, and the other one wants to talk all the time. You know, and I'm like, just give him a minute. He's not like being rude to you, but you're gonna make him mad.
He's not awake yet.
Yeah, I'm like, just let him give him a minute. You know.
Yeah, that silent song
Yeah.
where you're just driving, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
But we enjoy it.
Alright,
Just
it's alright. We're communicating
You know.
still.
so as an adult, like like with my kids, I've had to learn to kind of get out of my own selfishness and realize, okay, this kid wants to talk in the morning and I'm gonna have to give him some attention, you know,
Yeah.
even if I don't
Yeah.
want to, but I'm an adult and they're not.
Yeah, yeah.
They haven't learned that yet.
Yeah.
But that's so, yeah. So that's what we're gonna kind of launch it off on right there, and then as we go moving forward, we're just gonna kind of dip into this. Where do we conduct ourselves? Because we conduct, I mean, whether you realize it or not,
You've got rules
Every
for so
aspect.
many.
yeah, so many places that you conduct yourself, you know, with people in the store, I mean, out in the streets, driving your car,
Traffic.
and so with your spouse, with your kids, there's so many areas where conduct is so important. So, but we just wanted to lay down that groundwork, and I think that's about all we have for today.
Yep. And then remember, respect is a main ingredient
Yes.
in good conduct, better conduct. I don't know.
I think it's something that should be like the goal.
The goal for
For
high
like-
level conduct.
Yeah, I think it's that. It's basically you valuing the
Other
other
people as
person
well.
as well as yourself. And I
That you
think
guys are-
if you have that ingredient there, I think that it's going to show.
It'll improve, I think, your conduct across the board.
Yeah,
Even with yourself.
yeah.
Like even with
Especially if
yourself.
you haven't been taught
Yeah.
how to conduct
Yeah.
yourself.
It doesn't mean you can't learn how to respect, because
Yeah.
some people just no idea that they were just being super selfish their whole
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Yep.
They don't know that they're rude or what they're saying.
Yeah. So it's just like you said, consideration, you know.
Yeah. And I think because we've said that before about how so many people, because they're always on, you know, not face to face, that they don't know how to conduct themselves
Yeah.
with people face to face.
Yeah. So there's respect's a main ingredient. It's big.
So we'll talk about more about that in the coming weeks.
In the next
So,
time. So we'll see
Thanks
you
for
guys
joining
next
us.
time.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Join us for our next podcast. You can contact us through Instagram at podcast412 or email us at 412fight@gmail.com. See you next time.